What is up, everyone? So today I'm playing some Mono Psychic, which has been a very interesting type to play. I feel it's the one that took me the longest to get used to. I went through many iterations of this team till I finally settled on this one, and this is the one I climbed to top 500 with, and it's a team I'm pretty happy with. There are some standard things, but also a few more interesting things that were introduced now in Generation 9. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into the team. So first off, we have a pretty standard Choice Scarf Tapu Lele. The reason Tapu Lele is so important is because it does bring Psychic Surge to the team, which both increases the power of my Psychic type attacks, but it also blocks priority, which is very strong because things like First Impression, Sucker Punch, and even to some extent Bullet Punch and Extreme Speed can be very difficult for my team to deal with. So swapping Tapu Lele into key priority moves like that can be very important and pivotal for the team. Its part fairy typing also gives it useful resistance to dark, which is pretty important because other than that my team really does not like fighting dark. It also gives me a very nice spammable Moonblast stab, which can tear through dragons, dark types, and even fighting types, which usually aren't an issue, but in case they're running a part dark type, it's pretty important to have Moonblast there. Next up we have Psyshock, and Psyshock is good for hitting on the physical side. It hits physical defense instead of special defense, while also being a special attacking move, which is very nice for Pokemon who have high special defense that could otherwise completely wall out Tapu Lele. Shadow Ball is there for the Ghost types in the tier, and Ghost is a pretty popular type in the Natdex right now, in Natdex Monos, so it's important to have some kind of answer to Ghost types. Now for the most part, Psyshock and Moonblast can do pretty well too, but if they are running things like Aegislash, it's nice to have Shadow Ball, or even Goldengo is another big one that can wall out Moonblast and Psyshock. And finally we have Focus Blast, and Focus Blast is mainly there for Dark and Steel types. Now I know we have Moonblast for those Dark types, but sometimes like a Dark Steel Mon, for example Bisharp or King Gambit could otherwise wall out Moonblast, where they do drop to a Focus Blast, which is pretty nice. It's also good for things like Heatran, even Ferrothorn, which can wall out most of my moveset, so Focus Blast can be nice, if not a little bit unreliable, but it is there in a pinch. Now, stat spread wise, we're a pretty standard max speed timid nature with max special attack, and Choice Scarf. This lets me outspeed a lot of big threats in the tier and completely block their priority thanks to my Psychic Surge. Next up we have Alakazam, and it's going to be a Focus Sash Magic Guard Alakazam, and what that lets me do is swap in on entry hazards, pretty much any kind of chip damage like Burn, Sand, or Toxic. It does not matter to Alakazam. It only takes damage from direct hits, which means it can guarantee live with Focus Sash and potentially counter afterwards. This is a very strong for dealing with most physical attackers in the tier. Now unfortunately it does not work for multi-hit moves or something that would otherwise break my Sash. We also have Dazzling Gleam, and again Fairies is very nice to have on the team for dealing with dark types because they are quite prevalent and very dangerous for my team. Psyshock, again, much for the same reason as Tapu Lele, it hits on the physical side of special instead of special, so I can bypass things that are very specially defensive, for example like Blissey or maybe even Porygon 2. With Eviolite, I can potentially Psyshock and do more damage than Psychic would have otherwise. And finally we have Nasty Plot, and Nasty Plot is good because it doubles my special attack, and even with no nature, Alakazam's special attack is very respectable. With base 135 it hits 369, and it also has extremely respectable speed with 372, outspeeding a lot of key threats in the tier. Again, also blocks priority thanks to Tapu Lele's Psychic Surge. Next up we have Meloetta, and the main reason I have Meloetta here is for its normal typing. Now we have some answers to ghost types on the team through things like Shadow Ball Tapu Lele, but that doesn't mean we don't drop extremely fast to Shadow Ball spam, which is where Meloetta's normal type comes in very handy. It is immune to Shadow Ball or any other ghost attacks, which is pretty good for my team, because those things can otherwise pretty much 6-0 sweep me. Now moveset wise we are running Celebrate, which ordinarily would do absolutely nothing, but thanks to Normalium Z it gets me Z Celebrate, which increases all my stats by 1 stage. Now Normalium Z can also be paired with Hyper Voice to have a pretty strong Breakneck Blitz, which can absolutely destroy a lot of key threats in the tier that would otherwise wall out potentially my Hyper Voice or Psychic. Now, I'm not a big fan of Thunder. Thunder isn't the most reliable with 70% accurate. However, with Serene Grace, it does double its paralysis chance to 60%, which is pretty good. It also takes care of key threats like Celesteela can be a big nightmare, Skarmory, a lot of flying types, for example Mantine is another big one that could otherwise wall me out, and even some water types that would otherwise eat Hyper Voice or Psychic go down to a Thunder pretty fast. Hyper Voice is pretty good stab, it's fairly spammable, 90 base. It also does bypass substitutes by nature of the fact it is a sound-based move, which is pretty good. I do have to worry about soundproof mons. Pretty much the only big soundproof mon in the tier is Komodo, which would otherwise drop to his Psychic, so I'm not too worried about that. And Psychic is just pretty reliable stab. Again, I think I could run Psyshock here if I wanted to, but I do run Psyshock a lot on the team. Psychic also pairs nicely with Serene Grace, giving you a 20% chance to lower special defense, which could otherwise force out Pokemon that would be able to wall out my Meloetta. Next up we have Espathra, and Espathra is a very, very strong Pokemon, which was recently banned, I believe, in Singles OU. It is not banned in Natdex Monotypes yet, which is why I'm running it, and it is crazy powerful on this team. Stat spread wise, it gives us just enough speed to outspeed a Xian Pao that is unboosted after one speed boost, and we can easily get that with Protect. The rest we've pumped into special attack to maximize damage of stored power, and the rest into HP, because this thing has surprisingly good bulk with base 95 HP. It's a lot bulkier than it looks, and this can actually eat a good few hits that are unexpected. With leftovers Protect as well, we can potentially stall out to get that little bit of recovery. That's very, very important. We also have Calm Mind. Calm Mind is going to both increase my special attack and special defense, as well as boosting stored power's base power by 40 every time I use it, which is crazy good because this also pairs with speed boost, naturally giving me +1 stage in speed and +20 base power to stored power. So for those who are unaware of what stored power does, it is 20 base power, which is pathetically weak, but increases by 20 power for each stat boost I have. So after one speed boost and one Calm Mind, that's essentially +60 base, boosting this to base 80 stab, and this goes up higher and higher every time I boost my own stats. Finally, we also have Dazzling Gleam, again for the dark types in the tier. I could run this or Shadow Ball. I personally like Dazzling Gleam more because Espathra's stored power can tear through most ghost types anyway. Next up we have Gallade. I tried a few different megas on the team. I think Gallade just honestly fits the bill the best. It has Justified, so it can easily swap it on something like a knockoff. It will not lose its Galladeite. It will also only take 65 base power, and neutrally effective thanks to its part fighting type. So knockoff is pretty good against my team, so being able to swap in on that and actually get a boost thanks to Justified is pretty nice. Stat spread wise, we have max speed, max attack, jolly nature. Now its speed is not that good normally, but upon mega evolution it gets a very respectable 350 speed, which is good enough to outspeed a lot of key threats in the tier. We have bulk up for that little bit of longevity. It does increase my defense stage because Gallade's defense is not great. Special defense is pretty solid and HP is a bit poor, so definitely lacking on the physically bulky side. But after one bulk up, it can take a surprising amount of hits, and it can drain that back thanks to Drain Punch, which is also going to be stab boosted and be able to hit dark types super effectively and steel types super effectively, which are two things that really give me trouble. Next up we have Shadow Sneak, which is my only form of priority. I don't really love priority on this team because it does not synergize very well with Tapu Lele, so you have to be very careful about running Shadow Sneak and when you click it to make sure your Psychic Surge is not up at the time, otherwise your opponent will of course block it. However, it is good for taking care of things that live thanks to Sash or Sturdy, or maybe just a late game revenge kill with Shadow Sneak is important too. Finally you have Knockoff, which is both good team support for knocking off items. Now it's a little bit worse in the Natdex because Z Crystals and Mega Stones are fairly prevalent, but Knockoff is always still a pretty good move. It is also a Dark type, which is good for hitting opposing Psychic types, which can kind of wall out my team a bit. It also hits Ghost types super effectively, which are very, very tough for my team. So Gallade is probably the best Mega I found to fit onto this team, though there are a few good candidates. So in previous generations, I did use a stall lead Deoxys defense, but I decided to go for something slightly different today. I'm going for a speedy, bulky Mew with max HP, max speed, and a jolly nature. Its speed is respectable, and its bulk is fairly good with base 404 HP and 236 defenses, which is pretty nice. Now, moveset wise, we have Taunt to shut down opposing leads, to shut down Pokemon who are going to try and set up hazards on me, because my team actually has no hazard control. That can be very bad for me. I do sometimes have to rely on my opponent defogging, which is kind of annoying, but for the most part I don't think I mind hazards too much. We also have Spikes and Stealth Rock to try and stack up the damage as fast as possible and allow things like Espathra or Tapu Lele to sweep through the team. Finally, we have Explosion, which is a good pivot option. It also denies Pokemon defog. So for example, if I set up all my spikes and all my stealth rock, they swap into potentially a defogger, I can explode in their face, potentially denying them defog and getting a free pivot into a strong option. Item-wise, we are running Rocky Helmet. It's nice to punish things like U-Turn, or just generally punishing physical attackers, which of course there is a ton of in the tier, and Psychic in general is a more specially defense-orientated type, so we are a bit weak to physical offensive Pokemon, so Rocky Helmet is nice to punish those. Finally, our ability to Synchronize, which is not amazing, but it can be pretty good for things like Toxic or Burning Pokemon. Swap my Mew in, or even a Paralysis Glare for example. Swap my Mew in and potentially spread the status to them as well. So that is going to be the team for today. Before we jump in, I want to ask you, what is your favorite Generation 9 Psychic Pokemon? For me, it's probably Veluza. I know it's not exactly an amazing Pokemon, but I love its design, I love using it in the main game, and I think Fillet Away is a very funny, if not terrible move, but really good when it gets working. So with that out of the way, let's jump into some games. Up first, we have some Mono Bug, which is going to be honestly really difficult. I can't even rely on getting my hazards down as long as Fortress lives. I guess Espathra is pretty good here. We probably want to take care of Scizor first. I'm going to open up Meloetta and just try and do as much damage to Fortress as possible in the early game. I know they probably get their hazards up here, but if I can take care of Fortress, it means they can't get rid of my hazards later, which I really like. With like Hyper Voice. Low Kicks might come in. It does reveal to me though if it's Banded or Life Orb, and based on that I can play around. Yeah, Low Kicks obviously comes in, no questions asked there. First impression, it is looking like it's possibly Banded. In which case, we get a Mew, and we get our rocks down. And we probably explode on Volcarona if it comes in. I guess if I keep my Alakazam healthy, I can potentially do good work against Scizor. Or if I manage to bulk up once on Gallade, it's really good for me too. As expected, Volcarona comes in. I'm just going to explode. I don't care for a spot. I could taunt, actually. I kind of want to taunt, because if I taunt, then I outspeed guaranteed with Lele. But I don't think it's max speed. Oh, it's a tough one. I explode. It's pretty good. Doesn't KO. If I taunted there, maybe it would have been better. But again, I outspeed here with Lele. Now, the only thing is they could go into low kicks. We're going to Psyshock. Oh, they're faster. Okay, they're max speed. I thought they might be like a bulky or maybe even modest Volcarona, which is why I thought my Lele would easily outspeed. Scizor comes in. Scizor is quite annoying. We'll go in Gallade here. Hopefully they don't think and click Bullet Punch. Oh, they clicked Trailblaze, and that did so much damage. Not good. I think Espathra could still potentially win the endgame. Trailblaze being boosted by Technician is actually so cool. We have to take in Zam. I feel like we counter, but they probably dual Wing Beat here and KO me. Nope, they Trailblaze. Perfect. So we take care of Scizor. Low Kicks probably comes in. Maybe U-Turns. Pinsir comes in. I'm not too worried about this. We're going to go to Lele here. And after one... perfect. You love to see it. Moonblast. We actually get the KO, surprisingly. And unless this is... No. Do we win? If this is like Vest, maybe it lives, but I don't think Buzzwole lives in Moonblast. And my Psychic Terrain is going to block the first impression here. GG. Managed to pull that one through. I'm kind of surprised. Maybe I played badly against the Volcarona, but the fact that Lele won anyway is key. I think Lele is also really good against the bug matchup because it relies a lot on priority. Things like Bullet Punch, First Impression, even Quick Attack on Pinsir. Psychic Terrain is super good there. So let's pause and look for another game. One right after another. Now we have Mono Dark. This game looking very threatening. I do love Gallade. I do quite like Espathra if it can survive long enough, and Zam is good too. Now, I'm pretty certain this is Banded Shenpao. You have any account? Yeah. What do I do against Banded Shenpao? I think it kind of just wins the game. Actually, I guess Lele will counter here on the U-turn, and we will do significant damage to something. I do think Tinglu lives. Because Tinglu has, like, so much HP. It has definitely more than 500 anyway. And I don't think Shadow Ball will KO afterwards. I guess getting my hazards up is pretty nice. I'm just really worried about Shenpao. Well, we take this anyway. A trade isn't the worst thing in the world. What does this do? I'll go in Lele. Actually, they're going to Hydro Vortex, I think. They Dark Pulse, okay. We'll click Moonblast here. Do some decent damage to Tinglu, sorry. That did so much. Okay, maybe Lele is like the real MVP here. I'm not going to fall for... Okay, this is Choice Scarf, it has to be, otherwise they wouldn't take it out. I kind of like Gleam. No, actually I don't, because Alakazam's like outsped by everything at this point, so let's sack Alakazam. To a Flower Trick, okay, interesting. I do think my Mew lives one. And I'm going to explode here. King Gambit comes in. Okay, unfortunate. But we can get in my Gallade and click Drain Punch. I'm pretty certain this KOs. Like, part of me wants to bulk up there, but it's kind of risky. Meowscarada. I'm pretty sure Flower Trick. Actually, I'm going to knock off in case I live one. Nice. That was huge for me. Do I keep Gallade alive? I think I do. Let's sack Meloetta. I don't think Meloetta has a huge use here. And actually, if I manage to get my Z-Celebrate up... Actually, no. I'm just going to break Lit Bolts. Oh. Yeah, I forgot. No Choice Scarf. Does Lele even kill this? I kind of feel like it doesn't. With Side Shock it does. Now obviously I have to swap out now because I'm locked into this. And if they get +1 on Greninja, I think it's over for me. I'm pretty certain they're Hydro Vortex. Does it KO Espathra? Most likely yes. Yeah. It's Hydro Vortex. And they get the Battle Bond here. Not good for me. I don't think Drain Punch kills. Oh my god, it does. It does. Okay. GG. Oof. I'm kind of surprised Drain Punch killed there. I think the not flinching was really key for me. And I know this is Choice Band Shenpao from playing this guy before. And Moonblast would have KO'd it. Very close game though. Kind of surprised I pulled that one through, but let's look for another one. Mono Fire has some real threats this generation for Psychic. I'm quite worried about Cerulege and Volcarona. Charizard not so much, but it kind of depends on what Charizard they're running that I'm kind of scared of them. Now I think I open Meloetta. I really want to Thunder here. And just try and paralyze this turn 1. I know it's a big risk. And the big risk paid off. Fantastic for me. Do I celebrate? Does he celebrate? They're probably not going to Oko me. You know what? I'm just going to Hyper Voice. And potentially I can Z Celebrate or Z Breakneck Blitz, whatever comes in. Like if Volcarona comes in, right on cue, I think I just Breakneck Blitz it. That did quite a lot. And now I know for sure that my Lele outspeeds. Because I outsped neutral here, which means it's not max speed. That's okay for me. I kind of want to go into Gallade and Shadow Sneak, but also it's a really bad play because if I get burnt, it really sucks for later on in the game. If they go into Ceruledge here, what's my play? Probably Alakazam. Actually, as long as I keep Alakazam healthy, I think I'm good. In fact, I'm going to go into Mew here and maybe try and start setting up my Espathra soon. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Let's Rocks you once. They might spin here, so I kind of want to just blow up in their face. But I'm also kind of worried they're Yawn. They're not Yawn Spin, are they? Because then no rocks. Let's explode. I think they're Spin, but not Yawn. Okay, they're Yawn. Interesting. Not what I expected. And not great for me, actually. This is not very good for me. They're leftovers. Okay. Are they like Body Press as their last move? I think they're Body Press. I'm gonna protect once. They might Yawn me. I think nonetheless I can't mind to store power to try and KO this. Because I can always... Oh, I can't counter Ceruledge, actually. So I need to play around Ceruledge. Maybe I should have Calm Mind first and kind of bluffed the fact that I was Substitute. Heavy Duty Boots. Why are you letting me set up? Protect once more. They might be screens. Okay, they're defog. That makes sense. I'm not too worried. Sure, Sucker Punch and Ceruledge are going to do a lot of damage to me. But you know what? I actually might even live a Sucker Punch. This thing has a surprisingly high HP pool. I don't think it necessarily needs this much HP, but it has it, so I'm not going to complain. Now this is where it gets tough. I think I stored power once. They Swords Dance, and now I go into my Tapu Lele on the Shadow Sneak. Yes, lovely. I know Moonblast is not very effective, but Torkoal has like a huge HP pool, or huge defense pool, so... Especially with Iron Defense, my Psyshock would do not too much. I guess I don't need this anymore. And they reveal that they are Choice Scarf. Great to know for my Zam. You know what? Yawn me. I dare you. I'll happily fall asleep. Go into my Espathra and win the game. Easy decision for me. Ah, unfortunate. I think they're smart not to yawn me. I mean, the special attack drop is pretty good. And we're gonna knock here. I'm not too worried about the endgame. I think I just need to not choke super hard and not sack my Espathra. That did a decent chunk. I don't know why they swapped into this. I'll sneak. Ah, the Pyro Ball miss is huge for me. I guess if not, I went into my Zam. I clicked counter on what's probably U-turn coming in. I think the endgame was still relatively doable. That did a lot more than I expected. They plume as long as it doesn't burn. Okay, it burned. Not great, but I think I have a free endgame here. Because they have no more form of recovery. Oh, that just kills. GG. Pretty good win streak so far for Psychic. I expect this to go south. Where are we actually? 15-24. That's pretty good. Pretty decent for I would say a mediocre type. 15-24. Somewhere around like 66 on the ladder. 67. Pretty nice. So let's look for another game. Here we have some mono fighting, and I'm actually kind of concerned because I feel like this is going to be the matchup I somehow lose after doing so well for quite a while. I'm gonna... Oh, okay, their taunt lead Terrakion. That's pretty different. I'll go and Gallade here, because I can Drain Punch most of the damage they do back, but also I want to bulk in their face. Part of me wants to get greedy and bulk again, but I feel I just Drain here and KO this. You know what? Sash lead Terrakion is actually really cool. Denied by rocks or spikes as well is pretty annoying, because I have no way of removing these rocks. Now that said, obviously Lele goes crazy in this game. Does this Moonblast me? I'll go into Meloetta. Ooh, it doesn't live. I'll Z-Celebrate just in case for some reason they're like deathly scared of me and swap out. Is that Specs? Or is Iron Valiant just that strong? Okay, I think it was Specs. Yeah, Blaziken's a threat. I'm not gonna lie. I think we need Zam against Blaziken. Burn is slightly unfortunate because it does weaken my explosion. You know what? I think I'm just gonna Spikes here. Because as long as I can counter on Zam, I'm not worried about Blaziken. And I broke its probable Sash. We go Zam here. I'm just gonna click Psyshock. It does kill anything that comes in, basically. That's Scarf, right? Oh, it's Mega. Okay, I mean, I'll take that. Wow. Zam just putting in overtime. And then we just take in my Lele, and I think we win the game. 369. Psyshock did that much. Yeah, this kills. Easy. We get the train boost. GG. I kind of want to, like, stop here. Psychic did so well. It'd be a short video, but I mean, it climbed so relatively high. Like, 1539. Where are we now? I did not expect it this well at Psychic. 1539. I didn't get too much ELO for that, but we're just shy of top 50. If I was top 50, maybe I'd stop, but I feel like I should get another one. Let's be right back. Hey, here we have some Mono Steel. Can I make this a 5 for 5? I love Gallade here. Ooh, I actually hate Doublade though. Ooh, Doublade's gonna be nasty against my team. I kind of want to open Gallade. I know it's like super risky because it's super important mon. But them opening up King Gambit's pretty good for me. I'll get like most of this back. Sash, interesting. I got all of that back, and we're gonna sneak here. Taking out King Gambit and being full HP on Gallade is such a strong start for me. As I said, Doublade is scary. I don't think there's a huge amount it can do against Meloetta. And we're... Let's click Thunder. I'm kind of worried about Exca coming in. But this thing's Spit Def isn't amazing. That did a lot, actually. And the Paralysis, too, is nice. Oh, they have no guard, that's why. Haha. That's fantastic for me. Do I want to try and power this too? I think I do. Nice. Meloetta putting in work. I guess I can get rocks down just to try and chip Heatran and Celesteela. And Caesar if it comes back in. Now it doesn't do a whole lot to Excadrill. I'm not too worried about this. I think. Because Lele blocks Bullet Punch, worst case scenario. What do I use against Excadrill? I think Gallade. You know what? I'm trying to get my spikes down here too. Okay, they're Bug Bite. That's good to know. Do I die to a +2 Bullet Punch? I feel like I don't, but I also don't know if I want to risk this thing. Is there a Caesar Mega? +2. 2, 5. Like, this is gonna do a lot. Oh, I absolutely die. Okay. I guess I get in Zam, and I click counter here, and I really hope this isn't dual wing beat. Now, I feel like Caesars don't usually run dual wing beat. I'm kind of worried about Stula setting up like a Totemize or something is really bad for me. That is the last thing I wanted to see come in. I'll just Side Shock for a bit of chip. Is it Upspidef? It's Upspidef. So it's probably that like super annoying Leech Seed set. I'm gonna knock here. I hope it didn't throw. I guess Focus Blast Lele could still win the endgame. Oh no, this set looks nasty. Let's go with Meloetta and try and Thunder. Ah. What a heinous, heinous set. They could easily go Exca. That's fine. Or is it? No, maybe I double back into Gallade here. Or do I Z-Celebrate? I double back into Gallade. I think they'll go Exca here. Because they surely expect Thunder. I spammed it a bunch earlier. If not, I think maybe I can bulk up a few times on Gallade. Ah, no. That's really bad for me. At least I know now they don't have any form of recovery. And I'm going to Z-Celebrate. It should allow me to outspeed Excadrill, which is pretty good. How much did Thunder do? 37? Not much. Yeah, I kind of figured that might come in. But I was too scared to click Psychic. Okay, is this like Sash or something? It's trying really hard to outspeed me. Or is it banned? I'm not sure. Either way, I'm pretty sure Gallade lives one. Oh no, that crit is huge. Ah. Do I just lose here? Okay. Maybe I pull it through, but I don't know if Lele is strong enough to win the endgame. Heatran comes in. I don't think Stored Power kills. Which means I think I might lose. Do I Calm Mind? That is the question. Heatran. I don't know what it is. Let's just assume it's like max special attack. I don't think it is. How much does Flash Cannon do? Flash Cannon does 60 to 71 at +2 Spadef. 30 to 35. Yeah, I think I Calm Mind. Nice. Is Stored Power gonna kill? It's gonna be 220 base, +2 stab. I really hope so. Stored Power. +2. and +6 speed. It is a roll, very much in my favor. I did not get it. No. Should I have commanded again? No, because that roll was just not in my favor at all. I think it's all down to if Psyshock kills. Steela and Exca. Okay. Come on. Kill Steela. Crit or full para? Yes! Vindication on the Earthquake crit and the bad roll. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Ooh. Thank you, Lele. That Thunder Paralyzing earlier was so good. Wow. Okay. 1546. Not bad. So that is going to be it from Mono Psychic. Overall, very happy how that turned out. A bit better than expected, to be honest, as I said earlier in the video. I thought this type was quite difficult to ladder, but once I refined the team just well enough, I think it does very well. A very stressful type to play, and not one I dedicate too much time into, but overall still a very fun type and some very, very fun mons to use. So with that out of the way, let me know what you think of the Psychic type, and of course, if you have any requests for any more types you want me to play, leave them in the comments down below. Hopefully I will get around to doing them soon, and I'll catch you next time everyone, and have a great day.